you go to Tanzania on a regular basis and hang out with some people that do things in an old school way. Can you talk about what you do and what you learn from that?
Very old school. So about 15 years ago, I used to, when I lived here in the UK, when I first got into speaking and coaching and that kind of stuff way back, I wanted to develop a leadership program. But I looked at all the leadership programs that are out there and they taught stuff theoretically, and I wanted to do something more. And then sometimes people included board breaking as a metaphor. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great metaphor. I want a metaphor that's about real leadership. So I thought, I know what to do. I had climbed Kilimanjaro with some friends of mine. And I thought, what if I created a seminar that had that as the metaphor? So I created it. I created this program called See You at the Top. It was a 2-week retreat for leadership, communication, mental toughness, and so on. And off to Africa, we would take these clients and we'd climb Kilimanjaro. Fabulous. So one year, we've come down the mountain. Successful trip as always. It's been amazing. And my logistics partner, he goes, hey, I Googled you while you're up on the mountain. And he goes, I'll bet you'd be interested in meeting some Bushmen. And I was like, excuse me? What do you mean? Because I knew there was a tribe of them living in Namibia, the Khoisan, that you might have seen in The Gods Must Be Crazy if you saw that movie. Yeah,
great movie.
Yeah, fabulous.
Shows how old I am.
One of the best independent films, in my opinion, ever.
Seriously, yeah.
But as I knew about them, but I didn't realize there was another tribe of them living in East Africa. And this guy says, look, we can go try and find them if you want. And this is, again, over 15 years ago. We jumped into some Land Rovers, put machetes in, packed our camping gear, and we went. And about a week later, we bumped into our first ever meeting with the Hadza people. And certainly they'd met many other people before. Anthropologists had come to visit them. And now they've been turned into a bit of a tourist attraction. So you can quite literally book a trip to go see them. You'll get the 4-hour tour type thing. But I've been visiting them for 15 years. And when you say they've been doing things the old school way, it's true. I mean, they are, listen, we can't overly romanticize their life as a perfect representation of our ancestral past. We can't do that. But I think what we can probably quite comfortably agree is that their life is the closest representation to our ancestral history that we have on Earth today. And so I went there to visit them the first time, and I knew right then and there that I'd be back. And I've been back almost every year since, and many times for longer embedded stays. I've gone there and taken no food with me. I take water because I'm not stupid, but I've taken the chance of not having food and only eating when we're successful with hunting. And it's been one of the great privileges of my life.
What do you eat when you're there for 2 weeks?
We hunt. It's funny because in the, let's say, the world of sort of biased media production, the Hadza are referred to as a plant-based, they have a plant-based diet. I suppose so, in the fact that the animals they eat all eat plants. They might have a plant-based diet, but they're hunters, and they prioritize meat above all. When you're hunting with them, it's interesting. If you're not tracking anything, but you're hunting, in other words, you're looking for tracks, and they see some root vegetables, they might stop and dig them up and eat them. But if you're tracking, they do not stop. Once they're onto meat, they move forward. If the tracks are not super fresh and they see honey, they might stop for honey. But if the tracks are fresh, they won't even stop for honey.
Interesting.
It's a priority. So when we're with them,
that says it all there, doesn't it?
It says a lot.
Right.
It says a lot. So when you're with them, they eat meat, and meat is everything from the smallest birds to, most people will tell you they're the bird hunters. In fact, there was even a series of calling them the bird hunters. They are only the bird hunters to the people who do a tourist visit with them. Because when you go there as a tourist, you don't know how to hunt. And so you're noisy. And so all they can get is birds. We've eaten hyena, we've eaten warthog, we've eaten bush pig, we've eaten antelope, we've eaten baboon. They hunt big things. There's no question about it. But you can't get that on the tourist visit generally. So, but they eat meat. They eat seasonally available fruits, most of them fresh, except for the baobab. They'll eat that one dry on the ground because it turns into like sponge candy. It's really nice. Root vegetables are a big thing. There's one in particular that we have a lot of, and you can eat it raw, but they also cook it. And when you eat it raw, it's like, well, either way, it's a bit like a hybrid between a sweet potato and a red onion. And so it's kind of got that little bit of bitterness and a little bit of sweetness. And when you cook it, it gets caramelized and it's incredible, really, really nice. And that's pretty much what they eat. Unfortunately, there are now missionaries that are there trying to save them. Can I italicize that somehow? Can we save them? And in saving them, they're giving them vegetable oils and refined sugar and that kind of stuff. And their way of life is not long for the world.
Wow. Do they cook their meat? What do they hunt with, by the way?
Bows and arrows.
Okay.
That they make. There's a particular bush that grows arrows. It grows quite straight branches. And I've made bows and arrows with them. It's quite a project. It's not, I have 2 Hadza hunting bows in my house. In fact, I was there in November. This is really sweet, actually. I was there in November. I took a bunch of my friends to go see them. Did you ever see The West Wing?
I've heard of it. I've never really sat down and watched it.
So it's a great, great series. I highly recommended it. I really liked it a lot. But one of the actors in there, he's become a good friend of mine, and he and his wife went through our WildFit program, and he was a type 2 diabetic, and he reversed it. And so, we connected and became good friends. And we took him, and we took the two of them and some other people down to go visit the Bushmen. And a few of our WildFit coaches came, and we're having a great trip. And we're there for 2 weeks. And at one point, in the second week, the chief apparently summons us to come back to camp because we'd gone back to our hotel, and or hotel's a grand word for that, but we'd gone back to where we were staying, and we had to go back to the camp. And we got there, and it was raining, which is very rare. They live in a very arid part of the country, and there was this gentle rain and a big fire, and everybody is very solemn. And they're not very solemn generally. They're very upbeat and cheerful, lots of storytelling and sound effects and what have you. And then the chief stands up and he starts giving the most compelling speech. And I only understand bits and pieces of it, so the translator's kind of filling in the gaps. And then he takes this piece of jewelry and he puts it around my neck. And he made me an honorary member of the tribe.
Wow.
Yeah, after 15 years. He gave me a hunting bow.
Damn.
And this, and then he brought he brought Kirsty up, my partner, he brought her up, and he gave her some jewelry, and he welcomed her as family. And then we had one of our daughters there. And this was super cool. Some years ago, I was visiting them, and Nona, the chief, it's properly more pronounced like Nona. I can't quite do the clicks properly, but he tells stories incredibly well. And he uses sound effects for all the animals. So even though you can't understand his words, you know what he's talking about. He's so good. But then it reminded me, this is many years ago, it reminded me my mom had taught me how to do some African bird calls when I was a kid. So we're sitting around the fire one day, and he's been telling a story, and the story finishes. And then I just go like this. I go, and that bird lives there. And all the hunters, no kidding, grabbed their bows because a bird had come into camp. It was like that. Well, then they realized it was me that was doing it, and they asked me to teach them how to do it, and they could never quite figure it out. So then they called me Kukuru. So they gave me my own tribe name, Kukuru. Nice. Well, when Simona, our daughter, came, somehow she got it. I taught her how to do it, and she just got it. So they called it Kukuru 2. I'm not sure if it was the number 2 or also, but either way it works. And so in the ceremony, they recognized her, and it was really magical.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.